Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. So, guys, I saw a ESPN first take podcast, or they do this every day. I think they talk about different sports. Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman on first take, and they were talking about Terence Crawford and beating Kell Brook. And then Stephen A. Smith said, I wouldn't like Terence Crawford to fight Manny Pacquiao because he would destroy him at this point in his career. There's been a lot of reaction on that. There's a lot of people that think Terence Crawford would destroy Manny Pacquiao. I don't agree. I don't agree, with Stephen A. Smith's comments. Who should Terence Crawford fight? Spence is the fight that everybody wants to see. That's the main fight in boxing right now. When I say main fight in boxing, that's the fight that people want to see in the welterweight division. Manny Pacquiao is definitely the second most credible guy. To be honest, I don't want to see Terence Crawford fight Danny Garcia. I will take Thurman fight. I think that's a good fight, but I want to see him fight. I want to see him fight Manny Pacquiao. Or apart from the Spence fight, which we don't know whether that's going to happen. The Manny Pacquiao fight for Terence Crawford is a massive fight. There's no doubt about it. That's a huge fight. So I don't quite agree with Stephen Smith's comments in terms of he wouldn't like seeing that fight because he feels Terence Crawford would destroy him. I don't think Terence Crawford has been in the ring with anyone of Pacquiao's caliber, even at this level, even at this stage in his career. Who are some of the best fighters? Teddy Atlas did a podcast, and Teddy Atlas was saying Crawford, Bob Arum's done a good job to get Crawford to number one in the world, and without him he's having low risk fights, for high reward. And he was like, who's the best name on his resume? Khan? And he said, basically, Teddy Atlas doesn't like Khan that much, but he said, is that the best name on his resume? And he always blew big fights. And he made too much money where he didn't care anymore. So basically he was saying that Amir Khan had made so much money that he doesn't really care about boxing anymore and about winning and stuff. But Amir, we know that in his prime was a good fighter, but he's no longer that Amir Khan that Crawford fought. So Crawford fought a shell version of Khan. And he fought Jeff Horn, who had a win over Pacquiao, but I don't think Pacquiao showed up that night. I don't think Pacquiao was great, but I still think he beat Jeff Horn, if I'm honest with you. And that was a poor performance by Pac, and Jeff Horn was very rough and he was horrible style. And, I just don't think Pacquiao performed. Yeah, I still thought he beat him. I think in a rematch, Pacquiao would have destroyed Horn. But I don't agree with all these people saying that Terence Crawford would destroy Manny Pacquiao. I just don't. Like, Manny Pacquiao is not just going to fall over. We've seen throughout his career, he's a very tough guy. I just don't see how that would be an easy fight for Terence Crawford. I can't see it being an easy fight. I know people are saying Manny's old. I just saw him fight Keith Thurman. And I seen him take shots from Keith Thurman. I seen him, Thurman's a good boxer. He's not just a big puncher. I think he's a bigger puncher than Crawford. I think Crawford's a more complete fighter than Thurman, but I wouldn't say he's a bigger puncher at all. And the worst that could happen to Manny in that fight against Crawford is he could get picked apart and outboxed, for 12 rounds. It's not a dangerous fight. It's not the most demanding fight. Crawford is a great fighter, don't get me wrong. Crawford's a good fighter, but I don't think it's a dangerous fight for Manny. I don't see it the way people see it. Like, who else would you want to see Terence Crawford fight? Danny Garcia's fighting Errol Spence. Apart from Errol Spence, the most credible fight that you could see Crawford in is Pacquiao. And Crawford himself wants to fight Pacquiao. Now, I don't know where Pacquiao is right now. I don't know where Pacquiao is with his career at this point. What is he thinking? What's he got going on? What's he got going on outside of boxing? We know Pacquiao's a guy that's got a lot of stuff that goes on outside of boxing, but I don't know where he is mentally, Pacquiao. Is he still gonna fight top level fight? We don't know, because at the end of the day he's old. He's 42. So that's not young, but I'm not writing Pacquiao off in that fight. I don't look at it the way people just assume it's a wrap and Pacquiao will get dismantled. I don't maybe it's just me, maybe because I'm a Pacquiao fan. I'm just overestimating what I think he could do at this particular point, but I don't see it. I don't see how Terence Crawford would destroy Manny Pacquiao. I just don't see it. I think Manny Pacquiao's got a great chin. He's very fast. He's a great boxer. I just don't see how I don't see how he destroys Pac-Man. I just don't. I think Pac-Man's still a very, very credible fight for Crawford. And just because he's 42, I don't think he's any less. I think of course Pacquiao in his prime, we all know would have destroyed Crawford, in my opinion. I think he would have taken Crawford apart. Right now, obviously, it's a the fight's more in favor of Crawford just because of the fact that he's younger, he's fresher. But I don't see it the way people see it. I don't see how people just assume that Crawford's going to go in there and dismantle Pacquiao. That's not the case. That's not the case at all. Pacquiao's shown that, even at this late stage in his career, that he's still a very, very credible fighter. He's still a guy that's not just washed up or over the hill. He's still champion. He beat Thurman. And Thurman Crawford is a great fight. Listen, I would favor Crawford, but the fight would be dangerous. I think Thurman could beat Crawford. That's a very, very dangerous fight. Thurman's got a big punch. He's got a good boxing ability. That's not an easy fight. However, we do know that Thurman's chin and Thurman's resistance to the body is a bit vulnerable. He is definitely a vulnerable fighter. He's not one that's teak tough. He can be hurt and he can be put away. Not put away. He's never really been put away, but he is. I think he's chinny, Thurman, and he doesn't take a body shot too well. So Crawford definitely with his freshness, because Pacquiao, remember when he fought Thurman, I think Pacquiao in his prime would have knocked Thurman out, but I just think this version of Pacquiao wasn't able to close the show. And Manny Pacquiao hurt Thurman. He dropped him in the first round and then hurt him in the 10th round, even when Pacquiao was fading in the fight. So personally, if I'm honest with you, I would favor Crawford, but it's by no means a foregone conclusion. And I think the Pacquiao-Crawford fight is a massive fight. It does huge numbers. It makes sense. And I'm going to do a video about this feud that's going on between Bob Arum and Terence Crawford as well. I think it just makes sense for all parties. If Bob Arum can deliver Crawford that fight, I think it would make Crawford happy. Because really, if we're honest about it, right? I know people are saying Crawford needs to leave Bob Arum. Really, Crawford needs 2 fights. And Pacquiao's his own man. So no one's going to control Pacquiao and what to do. Al Heyman's not going to control Pacquiao, right? If Pacquiao wants to fight Terence Crawford, he'll fight Terence Crawford, right? And really, if Bob Arum can get Crawford a Pacquiao fight, the only fight that's really left for Crawford to have against the guys on the other side of the street is Spence. So, to be honest with you, I know people keep saying he needs to move over to the PBC, but really, there's only real 2 fights that people want to see him have, and that's Pacquiao and Errol Spence. Apart from that, who else do you really want to see Terence Crawford fight from over there? I think he beats Danny Garcia. Not to say Danny Garcia is a quality fighter and he's a dangerous fight for anybody, but if Errol Spence beats Danny Garcia, he's going to be again in the Who Needs Me club. So that fight, then, would people want to see a Crawford-Garcia fight? Not really. So really, the only 2 fights that people want to see, and I would like to say Thurman as well, but people they don't view Thurman the way they used to view him anymore. So the only 2 fights I think people would want to see him fight is Spence and Pacquiao. And Crawford himself says he wants to fight Garcia and Thurman. But he said he wants to fight Pacquiao and Spence. If he fights Pacquiao and Spence, just say he beats both, which I'm not sure. You can't say with any kind of confidence. Why would, Spence and Thurman, people really want to see him fight Spence and Thurman? No, not really, because he would have cleaned out the division. And he should be moving up weight. If he unifies and cleans out the welterweight division, then you want to see him move up and fight even further, stiffer competition. So let's see how it plays out. But to be honest with you, I don't agree with Stephen A. Smith's comments about Crawford dismantling Pacquiao. I don't see it. I think Crawford could beat him on points for sure. I don't see Crawford stopping Pacquiao. I don't. And I think Crawford could be hurt by Pacquiao. Pacquiao's very dangerous. Pacquiao, even at this age, is very, very dangerous. And I think people are sleeping on Pacquiao. Let's not forget, most people thought Pacquiao would lose to Keith Thurman, and he shocked everybody. And that's why I say that this guy is not one to be slept on. He's a legend. He's an icon. We all know that. But even at this age, he's not one to be slept on. I'm telling you, before the Thurman fight, everybody was saying that Thurman will beat Pacquiao easy, right? Thurman was the favorite. Only to the bookies, as the fight got closer, made Pacquiao favorite, probably because there was a lot of money going on Pacquiao. But most people in boxing, right, thought Pacquiao would lose against Thurman. And I thought he did it quite emphatically in the end. To have that kind of performance and win emphatically with no controversy, and beat Thurman, drop him once, hurt him again in the 10th. For me, that was a conclusive win. A 41-year-old Pacquiao getting a conclusive win over a young, hungry contender. That's a great win. So yeah, Pacquiao's not one to be overlooked in that fight, because I do think he's more than capable of pulling off, which would probably be an upset, because I think Pacquiao would go into the fight as an underdog, and Crawford would be the bookie's favorite for sure. But I definitely think Pacquiao could pull off that upset and beat Crawford, if I'm totally honest. But that's my opinion. What do you guys make of Stephen A. Smith saying Terence Crawford would destroy Manny Pacquiao at this point? Leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think. And guys, remember to please like, share, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.